The year is 2013 and the occasion the first Constitution Building in Africa conference. It was here at the prestigious venue, the University of the Western Cape, where the conference was hosted. It has also been 20 years since the South African's interim constitution has been implemented. And it was also the Community Law Center that was at the heart of the drafting stages. The center saw it fitting to organize and host this conference, which attracted over 350 delegates from across Africa, delegates from Zimbabwe, Kenya, Nigeria, and South Sudan. It also coincided with the All Human Rights African Moot Court, which took place between the 2nd to the 7th of September 2013.
I think it's safe to say that there's a wave of constitution building going over Africa. Zimbabwe, Kenya, Egypt, South Sudan, Tunisia are examples of countries that are busy adopting or have recently adopted a new constitution. And many other countries are busy reforming theirs. And whatever one makes of these processes, and in however difficult a phase they may find themselves right now, constitution making is clearly seen as critical in finding peace, stability, and development. So we're going to address a range of issues and questions today. What does South Africa's transition mean, its constitution-making process? What does it mean for the rest of the continent, if anything? We see that many constitution-making processes follow similar trajectories to the South African one. A government of national unity, required to work together, sometimes on a shaky basis, and at the same time produce a constitution that sets the scene for these landmark elections that will usher in a new dispensation.
A key message from the conference was that the Constitution is not the answer for all societal ills, nor does the Constitution solve inequality. However, what the Constitution does is provide the values and gives the direction to both society and government to work together in solving the inequalities.
The process will require extraordinary commitment, effort, time, and resources. In constitution making elsewhere, frame and calibrate the Constitution to the specifics and needs of its people. Everyone, individually or through representation, must have a say in the process from its start to its end without rushing, shortcutting, manipulating, or designing it in a way that favors some to the detriment of others.
The highlight of the conference was an exciting plenary session chaired by Professor Nico Statler, who is the National Research Chair on Multi-Level Government, Law and Policy. The speaker sparked a conversation on the process of constitution making and implementation in the continent, with a reflection on the relevance of the South African's transition for constitution building in Africa.
Traditional constitution for decolonization or countries which hadn't necessarily come out of colonial status. Your constitution appealed to us because it was a kind of transformative constitution. It emphasized people, emphasized participation. It gave a different version of democracy, which was not restricted to periodic elections, but a continuous engagement of the people in affairs, in public affairs. I worked in a number of countries, and always in my baggage was the Constitution of South Africa. So, so it has been studied and admired in many, many places.
Let's create a mechanism and a process by which these issues will be dealt with. When we entered the current century, we had quite a number of countries on the continent which were involved in wars. Somalia, the countries in the Great Lakes, and so on.
What did you want to do that clause is not allowing you to do? And I usually ask that question, and it's very difficult for just about anybody, left or right-wing people, to tell me what they wanted to do that the Constitution is not allowing it. Yeah. So for me, I think that here and there, a bit of fine-tuning I would have preferred in the Constitution, but by and large, I'm very pleased about it, and I think
This is linked to the development of constitutions across the African continent over the past 3 decades, but many of these constitutions are failing to deliver on their promises. Without a strong civil society across sectors and an integration of broader socio-economic policies, the promise of our constitution will remain outside the reach of many people.
We can only hope that this discussion, this debate in Africa continues, that this is a learning process. As much as that Africa may provide experience, we also learn from the rest of Africa.
Following the conference, there will be a publication of a book in which only 12 of the best papers are going to be published. This book is set to be released in 2014.